Good evening, everyone. Thank you for coming to the Schwab Lone Tree campus. My name is Nate Chicatello. I'm actually one of the financial consultants in the Schwab retail branch, which is just a stone's throw from here. I've been with the firm for 16 years, and we're glad to have you all here. This is an event space. There's going to be some outdoor event space that's going to be open to the community. So this is sort of just the kickoff of getting this area used by the community. There's about 2,000 people that work in this campus for Schwab. I'll be honest, I don't know completely what everybody does here. I know sometimes if our 800 number rings here, we've got trading desk here, customer service, IT, some of our research, some of our wealth management stuff is based off of this campus. You can also see there's a third big building that's coming up. So the idea with Schwab's presence here is that we love this area, obviously invested a lot of money in this campus, and we're going to grow it. So you're currently at about 2,000 people. I think you're going to see that get up to about 3,500 over time. Don't hold me to that, but from what I know, the executives love this area, and we're pleased that you guys could be here tonight. So I really want to kind of wrap up with that. Again, thank you. Schwab wants to be a big part of the community, and having the chamber here for this event, we really appreciate you taking advantage of it. So with that, I do want to turn it over to Greg with the Chamber, Castle Pines Chamber, to get us started this afternoon, but I just wanted to come up quickly and say, again, thank you, and have a great evening. Thanks.
I feel safe behind the podium, so I'm going to come all the way over here. My name is Greg Siegel, and I am a member of the Castle Pines Chamber of Commerce. I want to start by giving you a little bit of background as to why we're here having this presentation at the Charles Schwab location. When we were putting it together, we realized it was going to be a little bigger than anything that we'd have room for in Castle Pines, and we started brainstorming where we ought to hold it. So we kind of came here and said politely to the folks at Schwab, we'd love to hold a presentation for our community here. Would you be willing and open to us hosting in one of your conference rooms? And that small little request turned into this. This is their top presentation room. As you can see here, I mean, it's beautiful, it's phenomenal. They put out food for us, they have a bar for us. Schwab really rolled out the red carpet for this event. And it's an example of what they're doing in this community. A lot of times when a big business comes into a community, they just kind of figure they're going to have a presence, they're going to do what they're going to do. Schwab has partnered with Lone Tree and with all the other chambers around here to make sure that they're doing, their presence here is a welcome one and a strong one. They've continuously asked us, what else can we do to support your efforts? We have tons of employees that want to get out and volunteer in the community. What options are there? So they've just been a fantastic partner. So on behalf of the Chamber of Commerce and the community, thank you again to Charles Schwab for having us here. So tonight's presentation is brought to you by the Chamber of Commerce Speaker Series. Our Speaker Series is an ongoing series of presentations where our idea here is to leverage the resources that we have on the Chamber of Commerce and with our board members and bring them to the community at large, bring valuable information to the community at large. This is the third one in our series. Just to give you a quick heads up, we're going to have 2 more this year. Towards the end of the summer, we're going to do a presentation literally on location out at the Canyons development in Castle Pines. It is absolutely critical to the success of the future of the city of Castle Pines that what happens over on that side of the highway works. The retail works, that the houses sell over there. They do things the right way. And they've been phenomenal in partnering with us to learn. They want to know from us, what can we do to make this successful? So we're going to have a presentation out there. They're going to give literally wagon tours of the facility. Outside, they've got a great little amphitheater there we can sit underneath if we get a little bit of weather. We're just going to talk about that. So you will certainly receive follow-up from us about that information. We hope to see you all there. And then the last one we're going to do this winter is not quite as exciting and it's not as comfortable or pleasant a conversation, but it's so important. We're going to talk about how we can raise our children safely here in Douglas County. What we can do to protect them from the different things that are out there that we didn't have to deal with when we were kids. And there's a lot. And I've been to the presentation that we're gonna host before, and it's amazing how much you hadn't thought of that they're gonna present to us. So we're very much looking forward to that one as well. Tonight, on the other hand, you are in for a real treat. It is going to be a pleasant and a fun conversation. Pamela Herman is our guest speaker. I've spent the last 3 months working with Pam on tonight's presentation, and I've gotten to know her fairly well. I'm a business person. I've been in business my entire life, and Pam has one of the best business IQs of anybody I've ever met. She absolutely just gets it. This book right here, The Customer Manifesto, is her second book that she's written. It's everybody who owns a business or has customers should read the book. It's a quick, easy read, and it's absolutely, it's very effective. I highly recommend anybody who has customers and owns a business reads the book. I have a different type of business, but there's so much of that I can take and apply to what I did that I hadn't thought of before. It's fantastic. Pamela is a very highly sought after consultant. She works with mid-market companies. She travels the country doing keynote addresses and executive and management level training. Recently, she was instrumental in a kind of a turnaround of service philosophy for JetBlue Airlines. She also happens to live in Castle Pines, which is very much to our advantage, because through a connection that she has to one of our board members, we were able to convince her to come here tonight and share her presentation with us. So please sit back and enjoy the presentation. Don't worry about taking notes. We're going to make the entire slide deck available to you after the presentation. So ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Pamela Herman, Customers for Life.
Welcome everyone. Thanks so much for being here. Do you guys always have this within 10 feet of you? Always? Do you know the statistics on this? Like 85% of people, this is always within 10 feet of them. It's almost like an extension of our arm. Well, thank you so much. Thank you so much. This facility is phenomenal. This is the most beautiful stage I've ever spoken on. So it's an honor for me to be here. Thank you, Terry for the introduction, to Greg, and Greg, thank you. So yeah, here we are, customer experience. How many of you guys even think about customer experience in your day-to-day interactions, either as a consumer or as a business owner? How high on the radar is this? Okay, good. People oftentimes ask me, they're like, wait, where did this whole concept come from for you? Like, how did your business evolve to this point where you're talking about the customer experience? So I want to share with you because I'm not unlike you guys. I'm a small business owner, I'm an entrepreneur, I've never worked for corporate America, I have no idea what that looks like. All I know is how it feels when I go into a business. And I'm always looking for, as an entrepreneur, I'm always looking for gaps. I've invented products, I've gotten little shelves of Pottery Barn and Willie Stone and Sears. And so the way my brain works is probably very similar to yours. We're observing the world, we see gaps, we think, is there a solution? And if there isn't, we bust nuts and we figure it out. And we turn that into a monetization strategy, right? Super simple. And it's all fueled by passion. So we have a lot in common. What happened through the progression of my career to bring me to this point was I was doing a lot of consulting and coaching, and it became very obvious that I was exchanging time for money, right? Now, if you're in any sort of a business like an attorney or an accountant, this is exactly the model we fall into. We're just exchanging, we have an hourly rate, and we're exchanging time for money, and that's it. And I thought, there's got to be a way for me to leverage this in some way. I need to create some content that I can automate online and get it into more people's hands and sleep at night, take vacations with my family, and just have some sense of normalcy in my world. So it was through that process of understanding this leverage point scalability with my business that I dove down into the rabbit hole of internet marketing and email automation and social media, specifically Facebook was the horse that I picked to ride. So welcome, come on in. Since you're late, you have to come to the front and do like an interpretive dance. Cue the music. Just kidding. Okay, so it looks really to like head down. So really, when you think about the potential for internet marketing, social media marketing, and all that that encompasses, it is a beast. It is huge. And as I started talking to my friends who, many of them have businesses, brick-and-mortar businesses in Castle Pines North, I'd be like, can't find you here. What's your plan? What are you doing? Your website's not registering on my mobile. What's up? And I go to Duke's for a drink, and I sit there and I talk to the, I sit at the bar, talk to the waitress, and I'd be like, what's the plan? Can't find you here. People are always looking for restaurants. What's the deal? So this was a couple of years ago, and it became really obvious to me, very, very quickly, that most business owners have no clue how to facilitate this. They mostly just shrugged their shoulders and said, I know that I need to do something, I just don't know enough to make a decision. That to me was like the, top of my head exploded, and I thought that's the gap. So I'm going to take my business in this direction. I'm going to fill that gap right now, because what's heartbreaking to me is to, this is what we're going to talk about. I'm going to get to this slide. 3 things you guys are going to walk away with, 3 things you can implement into your business today, okay? Does that sound good? Low cost, high yielding, okay? So I'm going to get to this part of my story. Sorry, you guys, this is like, I'm totally stream of conscious with this whole thing because I'm really excited to share this with you. This is the thing, when I walk through Castle Pines North and I see weeds coming up through the ground, and I hear, and this is not coming up through the ground, this is coming up through the sidewalk cracks, and I'm thinking, what's going on economically here that we can mitigate weeds? And this was like a couple of years ago, right? Talking to my friends who own businesses, and I'm thinking to myself, what's the plan? And they're shrugging their shoulders, and I'm saying, indecision is the weakest place you can find yourself as a business owner. You cannot afford to be in a place of indecision. What you need is enough information to make a decision. That's it. So that's where I focus my work. So let's go back to this right here. The story right here, have you guys ever been to Epcot? Been on Space Battle on the ride? Anybody show hands? It's really pretty epic ride, isn't it? So I arrived here with my daughter. We stood in line, and as soon as you start standing in line, you begin to see this. These are the caution, warning, attention. And you get further down the line and you see more signs, caution, warning, attention, and they're thinking, oh my gosh, what's going on here? And then you get closer to the front of the ride and you get this warning. This ride is a realistic simulation of an actual shuttle launch. It includes extreme shaking, motion, vibration, loud noise, visual and lighting effects. And then they talk about claustrophobia, and they're like, if you don't like enclosed spaces, this is not the ride for you. And all the way, you're in line for an hour, and it's like the whole thing, you're getting these warnings. And I'm missing that part of my brain in front of the frontal lobe, like it never fully developed, and I love risk. So I'm just like, okay, part of the speed, right? Well, I got up to this sign right here, and this is literally like right before you get into the thing. And I thought, wow, this is kind of serious. Motion sickness, enclosed dark spaces, simulator spinning. Should I be doing this? And then you climb into this, and you're sitting 4 people across, and the doors close, and this console actually comes closer to you. And now I'm like, normally breathing is very anaerobic. You're not thinking about it. I'm like, my brain is triggering. It's like, okay, inhale, exhale, and I'm thinking this is a 4-minute ride. And I got hold together for 4 minutes. And they've got motion sickness bags and the whole thing. So here's the reality. What they were doing, Disney is really well prepared in doing is setting proper expectations. My belief is managing expectations is enormously profitable. So think about, when you've done business, you've gone into a store, or you've transacted with somebody, and you walk away and you're just shaking your head, doing this. Face palm, they just don't get it. You guys have this sort of experiences? We have these experiences all day, every day, right? Face palm, they just don't get it. What happens, the disconnect there is just a simple psychology. It is a failure to meet expectations. You walked in thinking one thing, something different got delivered by this company in terms of the product or the service, didn't go according to plan, And that usually results in some sort of a negative emotion. And this actually applies to our personal lives as well, right? Think about when you get into a fight with somebody, you're just thinking, well, I'm operating from this place, you're over here at this place, and somehow we're flying at different levels. This is where expectations go unmet. So here's the question. You walked out of business doing a face palm. How did you react? How did that make you feel? So throw some words at it. When you have a failed customer experience, how does that make you feel? Frustrated? Disappointed? Annoyed? Irritated? Did you say anything to the manager?
Yes.
You did? Of course you did. He's a sales trainer. I love it. Did you share the story with anybody that you know? Did you go home and you're talking to somebody? More importantly, did you go online and share it? How many of you have ever reviewed business online? Okay. A handful of you. We're going to explore this. So here's a question for you guys. You guys own businesses, business managers perhaps. Do you believe that you provide superior customer service? But just by show of hands. Who's got it dialed in? Awesome. When I talk to a lot of small business owners, I ask them that, and I say, is it going great? Are you delivering superior? That's the highest level, right? That's our key. And they're like, yeah, well, nobody's really complaining. But here's what we know. Dissatisfied customers, only about 4% of them will actually say anything to you. So that measurement, that data point of business is really a failed number. It doesn't tell you anything. 96% of dissatisfied customers are walking away and they're not doing anything about it. They're not sharing the information with you. Okay, here's the great vibe. This was a study that was done last fall by Gallup, and they went out and they surveyed over 600 companies, and they said, okay, so do you believe you provide superior customer service? 80% of them said yes. Thumbs up, double thumbs up. They went out to those 600 companies' customers and asked, do you believe that they provide superior customer service? Any guesses as to what that statistic can get? 40%? 30? 10? 8% of their customers agreed. This is why I do what I do. This statistic right here is the cornerstone of my business. And this is where opportunity lies, not only for lost opportunities, but just the profitability alone is enormous. It is huge. 92% of businesses are in deep denial and they're losing a lot of money. A lot. As a matter of fact, there was another study that was done recently. I believe it was that same survey with Gallup, and they said most businesses are only doing a third of the amount of business they could do with their existing customers. So, for example, if you're doing $1 million in sales, there's $2 million that is untapped through your existing customer base. Think about that. That's an enormous bump. Even 5% could probably make a huge difference in your business, right? 5%. So here's the key stat for tonight. By 2016, 89% of companies expect to compete mostly on the basis of customer experience versus 36% just a few years ago. Why do you guys think that is? Why do you think there's just this enormous bump? Competition? Has competition not been there? Competition's always been there.
It's more accessible online.
More accessible online. It's the technology that's accelerating this. Here's why. When I was a kid, this was the speed of word of mouth marketing. It was my mom, the next door neighbor, talking about the butcher who, put too much fat on the steaks and she got ripped off or something like that. That's literally what those conversations look like. So over the fence was the speed of word of mouth marketing. And today, this is the speed of word of mouth marketing. We call it in my company the 10-second sledgehammer because literally this is what a lot of consumers are doing right now. They're going into Twitter, or they're going into Facebook, or they're going into LinkedIn, and what are they doing? They're looking for other people, just like them, who are pissed off, and they're going to validate those emotions. Right? That's what we do. We go on Facebook, can you believe this? Or we call somebody on the phone. It helps satisfy some deep need that we have psychologically to connect people to our ideas. And what happens in Facebook, right, is that somebody gives you a thumbs up, that's the equivalent of a nod. Or they comment, now we do the equivalent of them saying, yeah, you're right. And sometimes they share. And the share would be them turning to their circle of influence and saying, guess what happened between that business and my friend right here. That's word of mouth marketing today. So let's revisit the customer life cycle. This is basic stuff. And I should probably preface this to you guys by saying, as I said to Joe earlier, I'm not going to tell you guys everything you don't already know. Okay, well, that's smart. I'm just going to assemble it for you in a different sort of way, get you thinking differently, create some heightened awareness, and let's show you guys some simple strategies as to how you can implement change in your business. Is that fair? Okay, perfect customer life cycle. It's really pretty simple. On the left side, oh, that'll be here. That is a tiny dot. Can you see that? Okay, left to right. We want to attract traffic, right? We want to get eyeballs. A lot of us invest in direct mail, glossy, we do perhaps some online advertising, we offer coupons, specials, there's all kinds of ways that we can get people to come toward our business, right? Then what we want to do is we want to get them to our website, we want them to call, we want to capture some sort of information from them so that we can nurture that conversation, we want to capture the lead, right? Nurturing them is just a process of having enough connections with them over time so that when they're ready to make a decision, you are right there. You've provided some really nice value. You're being of service to them and helping them with the educational part of it so that when they're ready to decide, you are right there and thinking of you. Okay? Then what we want to do is take that prospect and convert them into a sale. Super simple. We want to deliver our products and services, make sure they're 100% happy. Upsell them, get them to the next level in the buying process, and if you do all of that perfectly, they will gladly turn to people that they know and love, and they will say, you gotta go to this person right here. Making sense so far, right? Super simple. I focus on the right side of this continuum right here. A lot of business books, if you go on Amazon, or you go to a bookstore, book library, most business books focus on customer acquisition. I focus almost my entire business on the right side. What do you do when you have a customer and how do you get them to become a repeat customer? And there's big, big money in that. So here's the reality. Across all touch points, the clock starts ticking. As soon as they call your business, they walk across the threshold, they land on your website, they look at a coupon in the glossy, they get your direct mail piece, the clock starts ticking, and here's what you're up against. Okay? Very quickly, the gears are turning. Ooh, is this somebody that I know, that I can trust, that I share values with? Do I like them? They're making this decision very, very quickly. This is where relationships and connectedness come into play. Okay? So let's take a look at what some really big businesses are up against in terms of managing customers' expectations. If we take the country's largest bank, Chase, and we just, let's assume we're the chief marketing officer, and our job is to keep that funnel filled, right? We know how much it costs to acquire a new customer. We know how much money they're going to spend with us, how much we're going to earn on them. They know how long they are in the customer life cycle. Okay, that's their job, keep the funnel filled. 32% of new customers are going to leave in the first year. Banking industry statistic. 32%. Think about this. This blows me away. Have you guys changed banks lately? Well, you should go to Schwab Bank. Really, it's a hassle. Most of us have direct deposit. We have auto bill pay, right? We have all of our cards tethered to our bank account, ATM, and the logistics are a nightmare. 32% leave in the first year. 20% of those people leave without conducting a single transaction. Mind-boggling. And over 50% of those people leave within the first 100 days. So that's banking. Anybody ever been to Chuck E. Cheese? Keep your hand up if you've been there twice. Oh, really? Because you like the pizza. Well, I dodged a bullet. I've only been there once. Okay, they have a 46% churn rate. And the churn rate is really just a simple descriptor to say over the course of the year, how many customers are we losing so we can keep the funnel filled, right? Okay, 46% of their customers on an annual basis don't come back. Cell phone industry, 21% of people who sign a 2-year commitment break that contract. Now, how much does that cost? It's a lot of money. Why? Managing expectations is highly profitable. Somewhere it's falling apart. They thought one thing was going to happen, something else happened. Software as a service industry, same thing. This is basically stuff that we buy online. I'm buying stuff online all the time. I don't even know if there's human beings behind the stuff that I'm buying. It doesn't even matter. I buy it. Software as a service, 20% of their customers are leaving within 100 days. Okay, so across the board, globally, all industries, everybody, 20 to 60% are falling off the radar. Is there money in customer retention? Big time. Most businesses don't know how many customers they lose in 100 days. But we're not at the bottom yet. So, this is a key data point in your business right here. Every major decision is born out of this figure right here, lifetime value of your customer. How many of you know what is the lifetime value of your customer? Especially humans. Okay, this is pretty typical. Most people that I speak to, most audiences, they don't know this number. And this is a critical number. If you take nothing else away from tonight, you want to wrap your brain around this number. Get with your bookkeeper or figure it out on your own. But it becomes really, really critical in the process of understanding these key things right here. How much am I willing to spend to acquire a new customer? Is it $80 or is it 30 cents? If I have an issue with an existing customer, what am I willing to invest to keep them? And also, this is the critical one. This is the low-hanging fruit. This is where major profitability happens in any organization, which is, how do I increase that lifetime value? Do I need to develop new products? Do I need to make new services available to them? Is there something wrong with my sales process that I'm not escalating the lifetime value? So if you don't know the lifetime value of your customer, you're literally flying blind. And oftentimes what we see, it's kind of like if any of you ever took those business classes in advertising and marketing, it's a bell curve, right? And it was just describe growth projections to a business. And typically what happens is businesses see a lot of growth and then they start to plateau, and what gets shaved off the budget is typically advertising and marketing. Because they're all of a sudden, they're shaving everything down to the bone, and they're like, we need to ease up. And the reason why they do that is they don't know this number. And it's a critical number. It's a critical function. And customer acquisition is what keeps that funnel filled. So that would be job one for tonight. Here's the good news. Yay. A few simple tweaks, you guys can nail this. It's really super simple to do. And you might be thinking to yourself, okay, Pam, that's great, but I just don't know how to do it. I'm not that creative. I've got a zillion things going on in my mind. Ain't nobody got time for internet marketing or social media marketing or anything like that. So we're going to make this super simple for you, okay? I always like to reverse engineer consumer experience and their behaviors. If a business said to me, I actually had this conversation with a restaurant owner once. He said, I want to use Facebook to grow my sales. And I said, great. So there's a few different ways that we can do this. Here's a strategy. Gave it to him. Revisited him a couple weeks later. How's it going? And he said, it's weird. People they're just not compelled to want to go into Facebook and like my page. So I said, well, let me hang out in your business for a little bit. It's a quick service restaurant up on Hampton. I said, let me go just kind of check out what's going on here. So I was observing the customers and his employees, and I just kind of sat there for 3 hours and watching. And walked up to him afterwards, and I said, so here's a question for you. Simple question. Do you want to be like a 1-star experience, or do you want to be like a 5-star experience? And he said, well, 5, obviously. Of course I want to be a 5-star experience. And I said, because right now you're like a 3. Like I'm never going to lie to you. I'm going to tell you, it's okay. Your food's good. Your service is okay. But it's like tepid water. Like, who wants that? There's too much competition in quick casual restaurants. So, you want to step it up to 5? And he's like, yeah, absolutely. Great. Let's take a look at what your customers are doing, how they're behaving. Let's take a look at what your employees are doing. Let's dovetail that all together. And let's get these people talking about your business online. So that's really what we're doing. And here's the hard truth about business today. And we've all experienced this. There's a lot of competition, especially in restaurants. There's competition in any sector. It doesn't really matter. You literally have one shot to get it right with a customer. One shot. Maybe 2 if you're extremely lucky. But for the most part, you got to get it right out of the gate across all those touch points that we talked about. Who knows whose backside this is? Any guesses? Any golfers here? Charles Barkley, very good. Okay, have you ever seen Charles Barkley's golf swing? Okay, so let's take a look. Can you see? Yeah, interesting, isn't it? Here's what here's what's so weird. This is the reason why I love this video. Here's what's so weird. Like if you watch his practice swing, it's like warm chocolate. It's really smooth and nice plane. He's so relaxed and everything's great. And he addresses the ball and he hovers over for an extraordinarily long time. And anybody who's ever swung a golf club knows to take it back at a certain speed and to begin to increase that club head speed and then stop it. Like literally, you could like throw your arm out or something. That takes a lot of inertia to stop a club head going that speed. And I started watching this and I'm thinking, wow, this is kind of a lot like business. It has nothing to do with skill, it has nothing to do with knowledge, it has nothing to do with experience. His best friend is Tiger Woods. He's got access to anything he wants in terms of the best teacher. This is gray matter. This is all about implementation. He's not committed to the outcome. That's my point. But literally, think about that. The guy is enormous. He's got all the skill in the world to drive that ball 350 yards down the fairway. And instead he's stopping, and then he's starting, and the ball's maybe going 250. He's just not optimizing the experience at all. This is what we do in business. Do you guys like that analogy? I love it. He's such a cool guy. Okay, so my company, the Paragon Effect, I'm going to explain to you at a high level how this works, and then I'm going to give you guys some strategies to move forward with. Okay? So Paragon Effect, I started thinking about this consumer behavior, and how is it that we really get businesses to turn? How do we get them to commit to an outcome and turn? How do we get them to implement more importantly? Because like I said, I'm telling you guys anything you don't know so far, right? Except maybe lifetime value of the customer, and that's important. Okay, so if we start right here at the top, core values is really, if you were visualizing like a hub of the wheel, core values is really in the middle. It helps you hire the right people, it helps you fire the wrong people, it helps you respond to customers in a way that's congruent. At this level, with what it is that you value as an organization and you as a person, right? It helps you react, transact, interact. Everything that you do with a customer stems from your value system as an organization. Then we go to listening, and this becomes really key because people are talking about your business, they're talking online, and they're talking through, the old-fashioned way, mouth to mouth. Once we learn how to listen, to understand, we can then go into this engagement piece and how we respond to them. How is it we get them what they want? How do we connect with them by saying, I hear you, thank you, acknowledging them. The engagement is really, really critical. Engagement offline, engagement online. Doesn't matter how you communicate with your customers, engagement is critical. Okay? Then we go over to assess and assign. And a lot of businesses don't really have any way of sort of measuring, okay, where's this information, the feedback coming from? Where are people talking about our business and what do we do with this information? Is this just a crazy person? Are they a troll? Is this a legitimate complaint? How many have had like this? Is this a problem in our process, in our system? What do we do with it? And do we want to make a change? That's where the decision making happens. And then we move into the implementation. How do we change our systems and our processes to meet the market where they are and what they're telling us they want? And finally, and this is really the linchpin, is our people. You have to get your people to think like owners and get them to implement. That's the key. It doesn't work if your employees are not on board with the whole concept. So for many of you, you might have less than 5 employees, and you're thinking, well, okay, Sally, she does my books, and she doesn't play nice and stand with the other employees, but she's been here for a long time, and me hiring a new person would just be a total drag, and a lot of work on my part, and I'm just not ready to make that big shift. But here's the thing, Sally's part of the cog of the wheel, right? And the way other people engage with your business, your employees, and how they, by extension, share that with your customers is critically important. And the Sallys need to either get on board with the concept, or you need to vet out the Sallys in your organization. So it becomes really key, especially with a really small organization, that everybody there is on the same page from a value standpoint. That's when we can engage with our customers on a higher level. So that's the Paragon Effect. Here's the numbers behind that for those of you who are more analytical. 23% premium in terms of share of wallet. Let me explain what that is. Profitability, revenue, and relationship growth compared to an average customer. So say, for example, I think in Castle Pines Village, we have, what, 2 dry cleaners? Is that correct? We have 2. They're basically competing for share of wallet. So if I spend $200 a year on dry cleaning, that $200 is going to one or the other or both, right? They're competing against each other for my dry cleaning business and my dollars associated with that. Companies that engage, this is the huge number behind this, you guys, that engage both their customers and their employees see a 240% increase in performance-related outcomes. Pretty big number. So, you guys ready for number 1? Step 1 to make this happen? First thing that I ask all my clients to do is let's just take a baseline assessment of what's going on with your business online. So, here's an example. In a private browsing window, search for your business name. So, do you guys know how to find private browsing within your web browser? You want to go to a private window because Google tracks everything that you do. They track your sales through all of your browsing history. If you go into a private window, then it's not influenced. The results are not influenced by your previous interactions with business. Okay? So this is actually one of Castle Pines' members, Brown Gold Law Firm. And I threw it in there. And some of the things that you want to look for is on page 1, do you own all of the content? In other words, is it your website? Is it your Facebook account? Do you have a blog? Do you have about pages? All that should be showing and propagating up on page 1. So when a prospect is looking for your business and they want to do a little research on you, what's the first thing they do? They want to know what your reputation is. So this is what they do. What you want to do is go in and own all of this information. Oftentimes what we see is other stuff in here that is bringing our competitors' information in, and the local directory is a great example of that. So I'm going to show you what that looks like. The second thing that you want to do is do the same exact search for your niche or your industry and see who in your competition is showing up on page 1. So in this example right here, you can see we've got some organic results at the top, those 2. And then we go into the Google results, okay? What happens right here is that, Google's trying to understand if your website is relevant to the search query. So I typed in their criminal lawyers, Castle Rock, and this is what popped up. So our friends who are members are popping up, not at all on page 1. So that's a bad thing. Missed opportunity? Would you guys agree? People who are looking for, do you guys need a criminal attorney? You know where to go. Hopefully you don't. Okay, so here's what you want to do. You want to look in local directories. Okay, this is like yellowpages.com. All the social networks, Facebook, Twitter, see who's talking about your business. Okay, look, local directories, that's in there twice. Ratings and review websites like Yelp, TripAdvisor. Manta is another one. You want to go into Google Alerts and set that up. And you can actually tell Google anytime somebody mentions my business online, you send me an email. It's called Google Alerts, and it's a really powerful way to track who's talking about your business. Okay? Then what you want to do is share the findings with your employees. Why do we do that? Why do you guys think that's important?
To create corrections.
Pardon me?
To create corrections.
Exactly. And you get them bought into that process. We have to get them to think like an owner and say, this is what they're saying about this, about us. Is this okay? You know, what recommendations do you have? What can we do differently? This is where the whole process of ownership thinking starts. So assess how you and your staff are showing up. So I'm going to share with you guys a story about a business, a small business that did a phenomenal job with us. The truth of the matter is, anybody who's talking to our customers are our brand ambassadors, and most of our employees don't know how to represent our brand. It's a big number. As a matter of fact, there's a statistic that was survey that was done, and they said, okay, so of employees, what percentage know their company's brand promise? 74% didn't know. And even more startlingly, managers who didn't know He was in the high 30s. That's a big gate hole right there. So we've got to train people. So my son Elliot plays baseball. Last summer we were in Cooperstown for a baseball tournament, and I saw a girl at the ballpark who had a gourmet coffee. I'm like, where'd you get that? And she said, oh my gosh, you gotta go to Stagecoach Coffee. Mexican mocha coffee is bomb, go there. So the next morning I went in. This guy that's in the right-hand picture over here, Matt, he's the owner. And I get to the front and he said, hi, what can I get started for you? And I said, oh, I hear the Mexican mocha is the bomb, so give me one of those. He says, great. So as he's whipping it up, he says to me, what brings you to town? You're visiting, right? And I said, yeah, my son's playing baseball down the road. He said, oh, awesome, how's he doing? He's doing so well. He hit 2 home runs yesterday. They were both 3-run home runs in one game. And he's like, what? And I said, yeah, it's a great day. And he answered, God, good luck. What do you guys do? So the next morning I come in, and I had introduced myself to Matt. Let me hand you a copy. So I'm Matt. I'm Pam. Next morning I come in, and he said, morning, Pam, how you doing? Want the regular? And I'm just like, that's awesome. God, I can't believe you remember my name. And he said, but you don't remember my name. I said, it's Matt. And he said, so we struck up a friendship right there. So he's making me my drink again. He's talking to me about baseball, and he hands it to me, and I go off on my way. And I immediately went onto my phone as I was walking out, and I did a review for him in TripAdvisor. And I said, that was awesome. Like, I've never had anybody in a coffee shop, even, local coffee shops that I go to all the time, and they don't know my name. So that was pretty awesome. So I gave him a 5-star review on TripAdvisor. The next morning I went for coffee. 3 people in front of me in line, and he looks up and he acknowledges everybody and says, hey, good morning, you're right with us. And he sees me, he's like, Pam, thank you so much for the review on TripAdvisor. Coffee's on me this morning. Now, what do you think that did for all the other people standing there? Yeah. You could bet they were just like, okay, how quickly can I get this review in before I get this review? So yeah, he did some really, really important things. What did Matt do? He engaged me with a simple question. That's what got the ball rolling, right? How's your day going? What brings you to town? He was really present in the conversation. He remembered my name, remembered what I ordered. He was fully present. He made me feel like Norm, right? We all know Norm from Cheers. Norm walks in the door, everybody knows his name. By the time he gets to the bar stool, because we were sitting there waiting for him. That made me feel like Norm. He acknowledged my review, and then he very kindly reciprocated the gesture. So, what did he do for me? Well, this is what he got. He got 2 referrals. It's actually the original referral that brought me in, and then my referral on to TripAdvisor, right? Which we don't even know how many people that influences. That is like the great unknown right now. Who knows how many people saw my review and said, we're going to Stagecoach. And he's created a lifelong customer, because not only is it just a simple coffee shop, they actually roast their own coffees, and so he ships coffee beans to me every single week. So, lifelong customer. See how this works? Little gestures. Okay. Every touch point requires very high engagement. This is the greeting, the acknowledging, showing appreciation, leading with value, speed of response, anticipating needs, and giving sincere and authentic thanks. So let's take this example to the home front. One day, a whole block of outlets in my home just mysteriously blew out. I didn't have a referral from a friend. I went up to Google, went down the list and started calling people. It all rolled into voicemail. This guy answers the phone, Scott Ferguson, and he said, Pam, I'm booked solid for 2 days. I'd love to come out and help you, but if you have a couple minutes, let me walk you through this. I'm like, really, that'd be awesome. He's like, yeah, okay, so let's find all the GFIs, and I'm calling around the house, and trying to do them, flipping over, them on the main panel, flipping over the switches, everything. And after 15 minutes on the phone, we get it figured out, everything's resolved. Did he earn 1 penny from me in that transaction? No, he was focused on one thing, service. That's it. Super simple. Now, what did he say to me? He said, I feel like I owe you money, and he said, no, don't worry about it. I just saved you $125. Just think about this next time. That's all I ask. I'm like, you're awesome. I will indeed. So, what did Scott do? He focused on getting me the result fast. He made sure that I knew the value of his time. That was really, really key. It's key to connecting the fact that he gave me $125, basically. And he asked me to think about it next time. Okay, so it was a simple suggestion. Think about us next time. This is what loyalty looks like online. You guys members of Nextdoor.com? Nextdoor.com is a great little community hub online. People go on there, they get referrals. I've got this to sell, I've got this to buy, I'm a dog sitter, I'm looking for whatever. It's a great little hub. You guys should all be members of this. Anyway, anytime I see somebody who's on there looking for an electrician, do you think I tell them to call Castle Pine Electric? What do you think? Yeah? No, I don't. Do you think that I say call Scott Ferguson? What do you think? You guys are afraid to answer. No, I don't. You know what I say? You gotta call my guy. You guys have like a guy? He's my guy. He's elevated himself beyond name or brand or anything. This is my guy. This is what we do when we feel loyalty to a business. Okay. Conversely, now we're going to talk about ratings and reviews because this is what happens when things go horribly wrong and people get pissed off. Okay, so this was a restaurant that I went to in Portland, Oregon. It had been recommended by a friend, and I went there, and I didn't have a great dining experience. So I went on to Yelp to talk about my one-star experience, and there were about 500 reviews in there. Most of them were 1 star or 5 star. 1 stars were from people who valued service. 5 star were from people who valued the quality of the food. Okay, so I started reading through these, and it was interesting because the owner of the business didn't acknowledge any of these. None of them had been responded to, not one. And I thought, why does that surprise me? They don't provide that level of care in their restaurant. Why would they create that level of care online? But this is a huge missed opportunity right here. Reputation matters. Managing your reputation is critically important. So I found this review. This was a completely different restaurant up in Maine. And this guy started highlighting, but it's hard to read, one of the worst service experiences of my life, which is tragic because the food was actually quite good. Okay, I'm not going to read the whole thing to you, but that's really the net-net. It was a disaster for this guy. Same day, this was April 14th of this year, the owner of the business responded back. Thank you for taking the time to leave your review. So what is she doing? Nodding her head. I hear you. I'm here. I'm sorry it was a disaster. We had service issues that night. We didn't expect the rush. We were understaffed. And she goes into explaining the why. Customers don't really care about the why. What do they care about? They just want to be heard, right? They just want to be acknowledged. It's super simple. So if anybody's talking about your business on any review site, this would be job one. This has to be managed every single day. Somebody needs to be managing this part of your business. Why? Because these people are highly influential. You just don't know what their social influence is. They might have 10,000 followers on Twitter. This guy complained about Doubletree Hotel, which is part of the Hilton, and he was popping off about customer service. He got 137 thumbs up, basically, and 186 retweets. That's pretty significant for a business. This has to be managed. Same thing here, 7 and 7 for Jen's comment about poor customer service with AT&T. Okay? So one of the things that I like to explain to business owners is that the type of consumers who are going online and talking about their experiences, this is a very small percentage, but I can assure you that there is a tidal wave coming. And the key is to thank anyone who provides feedback. 1-star feedback is as valuable as a 5-star review. They're both designed to provide you with information that can help you improve the way you do business. Makes sense, right? To me, the scariest part of business is the indifferent customer right here. Indifferent customers are never going to review your business. They can take you or leave you. They are very, very susceptible to going to your competitor. If you ask them through a survey, would you fill this out? They'd be like, no, I don't have time for that. They could care less if you succeed or fail. Most importantly, you don't know who they are. They're kind of like a gas cloud. They're undefinable when they come into your business. So I've got a solution for you on this. Design one simple question that your employees can ask at the end of every transaction. And I do this with my consulting and my coaching. If I provided value for you today, here's what my simple question looks like. Would you go on LinkedIn and throw me a referral? It helps my business grow. And if they're just like, yeah, no problem. Thank you. I sent my handwritten letter. That's what that looks like. That's the reciprocity and the laws of the universe. So just think about if you're a service provider, LinkedIn is probably your method to get testimonials in there. That will help create social proof so that other people who are looking to transact with you, they see that you're a good person, okay? If they say yes, tell them to help you out. Educate your consumers, okay? This is why this is really, really important. This was a study that was done. To what extent do you trust the following forms of advertising? Top one at 92% is recommendations from people I know. And the second highest is consumer opinion posted online, 70%. Reviews matter. And if you don't believe me, think about last time you were on Amazon. What did you do? You're looking to buy an appliance, you're scrolling down, you're looking to see, is this the one that I want to get? Maybe you watch Netflix and you want to check out a new movie. What do? We always look at stars, right? Even movies we love, it's like, how can that movie be 3 stars? It's a great movie, right? We're always looking at reviews. Super powerful. Now, if they give you a tepid reply, this is your opportunity to pull that indifferent customer into a place where they're sharing information with you. And let's get them on one side of the fence or the other. Let's just try to gather information and get a read as to what's important to them. Ask questions and listen to understand. Empathize is really, really key. That's the nod of the head. I hear you, I'm right here with you. Death to ego, which I love this expression because it really, it's almost like when somebody's telling you something critical about the way you do your business, it's almost like somebody saying your baby's ugly, right? It hurts to hear that. You have to just detach from that and just keep thinking, this is information that's going to help me improve the way I do business. Simple thank you. Let them know, this is really critical, let them know that their feedback helps you improve your business so that no future customer has to go through what that customer went through, especially if it was just a recovery situation. Okay? Okay, you guys ready? A few more minutes? How are we doing on time? Do we have time for bonus?
Yeah.
Yeah, we do? This is gold right here. Everybody loves this part of the presentation. Okay, how many tech people do we have in the room? Okay, so for the rest of you, you're only going to pay attention to 3 little words, and you're going to write it down, and you're going to hand it over to your web developer. But I want you guys to understand the sheer potential behind a little piece of technology that will give you so much business, your hair is going to go on fire. It's called remarketing to your website visitors, and you guys might be familiar with this term, remarketing. If you've ever gone on Amazon or Zappos and you're looking at shoes, and then you're on somebody else's website, and you see those shoes in the same color that you're looking at, and you're sitting there, how do they know? Like, they know what I'm doing, right? You guys observe that? That's remarketing. How do they know? Well, historically, remarketing was only available to enterprise-level companies. It was expensive to do. It cost thousands of dollars to get that information. Who's coming to our website, and how do we retarget them? Now it's available to a small business owner. You guys curious about this? Remarketing is powerful. So typically what this would look like is that somebody would come to our website and want to learn more about your business. And what we would want to try and do is capture their information so we can continue the conversation through email. So these are some simple email opt-in forms. Get a free dessert, that's the trade-off for an email. The second one is get 5% off your order in exchange for your email. Great, okay, so that's value exchange. Challenge is you get their email, create an email, you send it to them, and now you're competing on a whole other level. And it looks a little bit like this. You have to create an offer, something that they will be willingly give, their email in exchange for something really powerful, right? Then we have to get them to opt in and put the email in. Like, they like the offer, okay, great, put in your email, and people are like, what am I going to do with my email? Okay? You send them an email, it has to get past their mail server. And it's hopefully not going to land in their spam or in their junk folder. You've got to write a compelling subject line so that they click on it and they open it, right? That's a whole nother hurdle. In the body, there's a link. Read more about this or check this out, here's our deal. You need to get them to land on that, click on it, right? Finally, they come back to your website. So this is a very elongated process of getting somebody back to the website. Making sense so far, you guys? Okay, this little tip I'm going to share with you guys helps you create a virtual list of website visitors, and they don't have to opt in. All they have to do is show up. Pretty cool. It's called Facebook Website Retargeting, and here's how it works. I'm going to try not to nerd out on you guys. So for those of you who are not techie, just bear with me and write stuff down for your developer, okay? This is a little piece of code that you can put on your website. It's from Facebook. Now, here's what you guys might not know about Facebook. They collect 1,500 or so data points on us. They kind of know everything. They know what we're reading. They know what we like. We know what articles we're engaging with through the like, comment, or share, right? They're tracking our browsing history. Most of us do not log out of Facebook, right? Who logs out of Facebook? Nobody does. Doesn't matter what you're doing. Oh, you do. Smart man. Okay, so it's creepy from a consumer standpoint, powerful from a marketing standpoint. Here's why. You put this little code on your website. It's called a custom audience pixel. That's what you're going to write down and get to your web guide, okay? It allows you to advertise to people who have visited your website or have viewed even a specific page on your website. So let's say, for example, that you have an e-commerce site and you're taking the customer all the way from looking at something to the buy now button. Well, most people abandon cart to a rate of about 50%. It allows you to go back and say, hey, that cool thing you were looking at, guess what? It's on sale now. This is really, really powerful. You can actually do geo-targeting with this. So for those of you who have a locally owned business, a brick and mortar perhaps, or service-based, you can do targeting within 50-mile radius, 20-mile radius, doesn't matter. You can designate all of that on Facebook and just do some really, really powerful, high-converting advertising right there. Low cost, highly effective because they've already been to your website, they're familiar with you. Let me give you an example of how this worked just recently for me. I love Shark Tank and I'm obsessed with that show. So there was a business on there called Plated out of New York City. I'm like, that's so interesting. Like, for people who don't have time to cook, they send you the raw ingredients in cold pack with recipes, and they're designed to be made in 30 minutes. I'm like, awesome. So I go to the website, and I'm checking it out, and just wanted to understand their model a little bit more. And I went all the way to the shopping cart because I wanted to understand how it worked, but then, of course, I abandoned it. Listen. So next day I'm on Facebook, guess what pops up? Little ad on the side. Buy two, we'll give you 4 for free. Now, my guess is we live in where we live, right? High net worth, geographic area. I was probably highly targeted. We want to find people who fall into these demographics, these sociographics, these economics, and who live in certain zip codes, and we're going to target her, and we're going to have her become a customer. So they sweeten the pot. They basically gave me 6 meals for the price of 2. It's an awesome deal. It's like 24 bucks. No brainer. That's how you get new customers, okay? You'd be nuts not to do this. Most businesses do not know about this, including your competitors, which gives you massive advantage. And if you're not remarketing to your website visitors, it's literally water, money gushing out of your business. Huge money right there. So let's take it back to the 36,000 foot level. These are 4 imperatives for your business. You've got to differentiate and transform your customer experience. That's the only thing that's going to make you different from your competitors right now. Know what your consumers are doing online. Embrace the mobile mind. Everybody's on mobile now. You've got to be mobile responsive. If your website cannot be navigated on here, they're going to leave and they're going to go to your competitor. For 200 bucks, you could probably have that done on the website with desk, okay? Tap into the data and the insights on your website and use that to your advantage to improve your deliverable. So again, a lot of small businesses think that they compete on price. They don't. 7 out of 10 people would gladly pay more and drive further to get products and services from somebody who's doing it in a way that respects them and honors them. So don't be afraid of your pricing model. So with that, launched a podcast a couple of weeks ago. It's called Customers for Life. I would love for you guys to hop on there. Subscribe, listen in if you like it, comment, review, or send me personal messages with your insights, stories, things that have happened to you, questions that you have. It's an interview series, and it's great because we bring a lot of experts that can help small businesses and mid-market businesses really improve what they're doing. So with that, I want to thank you guys so much for your time tonight.